Hi everybody and welcome to the channel. I hope everyone's having a good day today. I really do. Well, I wasn't going to make a video, but I think I'm going to be doing this for a little while because I'm feeling very driven to inform people of the basic uh, crime rate that is, it's really hard to ignore everything going on right now for me. And, I was at home and I could hear some sirens, and there was a police chase that went. It was just one police officer, one police car chasing someone in a white four-door vehicle. They happened to turn down our street, and the guy that the officer was chasing was definitely not going to stop. So I don't know where it all ended up or what happened, but some of the neighbors were going to check our ring video and see what happened. And also, there are an awful lot of people that are going missing. And not only that, the absolute increase in property theft, property crime, that's something that I think is going to continue to really be off the charts. Um, things are, the wheels are coming off. I think some of us are more sensitive to it right now than others. And I happen to be really sensitive to the overall vibe in society, and I can really feel the aggression. I can see it in people. It just hasn't completely collapsed yet on the outside, but I think it's just a matter of time. I pray to God that it just doesn't do that. But when I saw this article today, it really prompted me to go ahead and kind of stay on course of what I really intended to do. And part of the reason that I kind of waver and go back and forth is because I don't want it to stir up anything. I kind of fear, that it would stir things up inside of me, but it's not. If I feel like I can't report or share what I'm learning and what I know and what I've learned from everything, then I will stop and take a break and focus, excuse me, on some other things. But, at the moment, I'm going to go ahead and kind of stay on top of some, recent stranger abductions. And, some of these may not be stranger abductions, but it's looking like a lot of it is. It's just looking like a lot of it really is. So this morning, I'm sure y'all probably saw the news about the Pearland couple, the home invasion that occurred. A lot of really scary stuff is coming out of Houston, but it's happening everywhere. It's just Houston's such a big city and it is so spread out. Houston is spread out into basically connected to other towns now. I mean, that's been going on for a while, but there's very little, empty space between towns anymore. So I definitely don't want to see this video. Let me see if I can get it to stop. Okay, well, I'm just going to go ahead and scroll past it. Okay, so the Pearland Police Department has identified the suspect as his name is Robert Herbert. The attack happened inside a historic Pearland home on the 2200 block of North Houston Avenue about 10:30 p.m. on April 17th. David and Lisa De Hoyos had just gone to bed when they heard a cinder block bust through a downstairs window. David says that he heard a commotion going on downstairs and thought, well, that's more than our two cats. And he's quoted to saying that he has a firearm and he keeps a pistol and he grabbed it. David De Hoyos says that he then went downstairs and found Herbert in one of their rooms holding a hammer and banging on the walls. David De Hoyos says he has never seen this individual, Herbert, before, and that he didn't say a word or appear to be stealing anything. And that's when David himself was attacked. And there is a tweet here that someone, I guess at the station, said that it's the stuff that horror movies are made of. A Pearland family says a stranger broke into their home and attacked them with a hammer. One of the victims shot the suspect. Everyone survived. And the homeowners have a story. I don't know if I would get a copyright to play that. I think if you just look at these people's faces, that's really all you need to know. That's brutal trauma. And it obviously took both of them, you know. The quote just goes on to say that we struggled. He was taller than I was. When we were face to face, chest to chest, and just doing that dance, I stuck the pistol in his side and I pulled the trigger 3 times. At some point during the struggle, Lisa de Hoyos ran into the room, saw her husband in danger, and tried to help. She was hit in the head twice with a hammer. There was no hesitation to try to step in between what was happening. The couple says they don't remember much else. They were able to get help. They were both taken to the hospital by an ambulance. They spent several days in the hospital recovering. She suffered bleeding on the brain swelling, a pierced eardrum, and several other injuries. I know this injury is really painful here that he sustained. It's a broken orbital bone. That's unbelievably difficult. That's a terrible injury in his face which might result in permanent damage to his eyesight. This injury is very concerning to him as he depends on his sight for his job. He has been employed in NASA's photography department for more than 30 years. The offender, Hebert, has been charged with 2 counts of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon and 1 count of burglary. I would think that would be aggravated murder or attempted murder. As of Tuesday night, the court documents show he remained in jail on over $500,000 bond. And here's the quote, and this is why I wanted to share this with y'all. It says, "We are an example of just people that were living our lives and had no idea this was going to be what our life was like." Both David and Lisa credit God for getting them through the terrifying experience, along with their dedication and love for one another. And Lisa, goes on to say his wife that he's the best thing that ever happened to her. It's just surreal that it happened to us so randomly, David said. Will I be jumpy? Will I be constantly looking over my shoulder? Will I be able to sleep? And I don't know. You know, that's PTSD. That's the brand new little bud of PTSD that will be with him forever. No, I can answer no, that he will. I can actually say, when he asks, will I be jumpy? I can say yes, on steroids. Will he be constantly looking over his shoulder? Yes. Yes, without a doubt. Will he be able to sleep? No. No, he won't. Not without some kind of help. And then he just says, I don't know. And, I say that a lot. I know. I've heard some of my videos, and I say, I don't know, a lot. And that's what that's what violent crime does. That's what it does. You just really realize that you just don't know. You really just don't know. You know that you can't trust anyone ever again. You're never going to be able to trust anybody. You can to a certain degree, yes, with your significant other. Hopefully you're blessed to have that relationship with somebody. Yes, you can. But there is always going to be a part of you that is reclusive, that no longer wants to participate in society. You will distrust society. You will have episodes where you can just hear everything. I don't know if you could hear this car horn that was just going off in the behind me, but you okay, it stopped. You can actually you become so hyper vigilant that the sound of traffic can make you feel like you're going to go crazy. Crowds. It is absolutely a life-changing experience, and it's one that you can just kiss your regular life goodbye. And what makes this particular crime so heinous, and I'm going to take it off of there because I know that's pretty tough to look at. What makes that particular crime so heinous is that they were in bed asleep. Because when you get ready to go to bed, you know that feeling of security. You know, you're taking off your makeup, or if you're a guy, you're brushing your teeth and you're in your comfortable clothes and you're in that routine of kind of letting your guard down, you're off duty and you're going to bed. Well, in my self-defense class, I learned something very valuable about this type of crime. And I have done this at home now. I had my husband do this for me. And that is, you install a heavy duty lock. You can do a deadbolt if you like, but you install a heavy duty lock on your bedroom door. And when you go to bed at night, you lock that bedroom door, because that bedroom door is going to be your best defense against a home invasion. It's going to buy you time. You're going to have a moment to grab your weapon, rack the slide, whatever it is that you need to do to chamber, you know, what they call them, freedom seeds online. You know, I don't know if I'm even allowed to say that word, but you're going to need that time. And the reason that I know this also is because on the surface, you know, in the neighborhood that I'm in, you know, a lot of it just doesn't, we're kind of in an area, it's an in-between area. So basically, there's a rental property and people come and go, right? And one night at about 3 a.m., I woke up right before, and this is how keen your instincts get, especially if you've been violated, right? Or you have some type of PTSD, or you're just a vigilant person, you're very aware, like a lot of the preppers are that handle firearms. I really enjoy that because y'all are also, I'm giving a shout out to all you guys. Y'all are very prepared and y'all have that mindset. And I love that because it makes me feel safer. But I woke up and then I heard 30 rounds from a 9mm being fired over by that rental house. And I woke up right before it happened. And I know other people, that kind of thing happens to other people. But I can tell you that when that woke me up, I called 911. They asked me my address and I couldn't tell them. I was so panicked, even after everything I've been through. But that woke me up out of a dead sleep and I could not remember my address. I was able to get the presence of mind to have my weapon ready in case, you know, something did come this way. But it was so loud. I mean, it was really loud. And the police did come. I don't know that anybody was ever arrested. I know those people moved out and we have a much better situation. But once that happens, what kind of thing happens and rouses you out of a sleep, you're adding another layer to your, I don't want to call it really, it's another, like, you see rocks that have stratus, like strata lines that demark maybe where the ocean levels were and different types of sediment and minerals and all that. You're just adding another layer. Because then every time you get comfortable and you go to sleep, or you want to take a nap, or you want to lay down or unplug, it's difficult. It's really difficult. But that door, that bedroom door needs to be outfitted with something when you go to bed at night. If you have any worry or concern, it will buy you time. You also need to have some type of situation where you have a camera on the outside of that door, like a blink or something like that, so you can check before you open that door. If you have any question or concern whether someone's come in, you can check on your phone. Another thing is to get one of those things that go ding dong, like a motion sensor that's battery operated, to put those around the perimeter of your home. So, and then camouflage it. So if someone comes, say you're by yourself, you're a girl, you're by yourself, and someone's traveling and you want to go to bed at night and you're afraid once you lock that door, you're scared to open it. And I hear that a lot. You're really scared to open that door. Well, if you've got those motion detectors, they're really inexpensive. I think you can go to Harbor Freight and buy like 4 or 5 of them for less than $50. And then get yourself some extra batteries and keep those and set them, even if you set them in various places in the window, set them in strategic places, play around with it until you really are comfortable that if you're asleep and that bedroom door is locked, if that thing goes off, like if you have to keep your cat in the bedroom with you, your animals are really smart. Cats are really smart. They're not going to, you'll get used to the setup. But I guess what I'm just trying to emphasize is you want as much coverage, protection as you can get between you and the outside world. And once you get used to, I was real panicky about sleeping with my door locked, but I do it now. Especially if I'm by myself, I do it. And there's other ways you can line your windowsills with bottles or put tie bells on doorknobs. But this kind of crime, this guy was just insane to do that. I mean, he threw a cinder block brick through the open window and then started beating both of them with a hammer. Had that man not had a weapon, I don't know if either one of them would be here today. Of course, God saw them through that. But you do have to keep something to defend yourself. That's been lost in the society, and a large part of us have really been, and I'm guilty of it too, um, of just getting really complacent and that nothing can ever happen. And so I've learned throughout the years different ways to do that. So I just wanted to let you know that part of that class told me that bedroom door is one of your best measures of buying yourself that time and protecting you. So moving on, I did do a little bit more research on Erika Hernandez, and I did a video. I'm going to try and keep this a bit shorter. I know my videos go on a little bit long, so she's made a lot of headlines, but what I'm concerned about now is that she is going to go kind of forgotten by the media because it's just been too much time, and I know how the game works. And unfortunately, the longer you go missing, you just get added into that stack on the detective's desk. And there are cold case detectives, and I have met one here in town. There was a family friend that was murdered, and I was really curious after a certain amount of time if the police had found anything out. And I was glad to know that there was a cold case unit that was still had active, that they still kept some cases kind of open. But the more time that goes by, it just decreases your chances. But then there is always that possibility that something will happen. And what I did learn about Miss Hernandez is that she had been delivering food to her brother on, I believe it was a Saturday evening. She had brought some food over to her brother's house, her brother and her sister-in-law. And then she left, and the Ring video captured her just walking back to her car, which was a black Acadia. It was a brand new black car. I just want to be sure this doesn't go. Let me see if I can find it. She was driving a black Acadia. This is a really popular topic if you want to look it up right now. Just look up Erika Hernandez missing Houston. So she basically, when she left her brother's house in the evening, she took her 3 children back home and dropped them off, and then she went to a friend's house. Well, she stayed there for a while, and then from what I've read, and I'm finding it harder and harder to find the details, and the police usually don't release all of the details, or if they do, they will, and then they'll remove them because, they can't put all their cards out on the table. They've got to be able to have some wiggle room to be able to vet out a suspect. So at about 2:45, she was headed home to her children's house, to her home, because her daughter needed the car at 5 in the morning to go to work. Her 19-year-old daughter did. So at 2:45, apparently her friends, the people whose house she left, her friend's house, someone texted her if she had made it home safe. And a text was sent from Hernandez's phone stating, "I'm 5 minutes away." Well, at 2:50, 5 minutes later, her phone had been turned off. Someone turned off her phone. I believe they're checking OnStar that was on in her car to find out if it would match up with the unrecognizable phone number. That was apparently an unrecognizable phone number made from her cell phone. It's possible that she had been at an intersection. I know I brought that up in the last video that I took down. And, like I've said in the past, there are predators that specifically set out to do this crime. That is their intention. It's not by accident. These are people that make a plan, they go and they park, and they sit there and they wait. They wait for someone to follow, they wait for someone to carjack, they wait for someone to kidnap, they wait for somebody to rob. That's like the difference between us and them. We get up and we go to work, or we go to the store, we try to keep a nice house. These people don't think like that. They're not like us. So it's very hard to imagine, we can't really necessarily get into the mindset of how they think, other than they think a complete opposite of the way that you and I think. They think differently. So, she never made it back home. There's no trace of her, the car, or any of her property. And I think somebody professional that knew how to disarm OnStar. They knew exactly what to do with the phone. And, unfortunately, her vehicle hasn't been located. And it just doesn't sound good to me at all. So, and the more the time goes by, it's just a really tragic story. She left 3 children behind, and she was a very good mother. She really cared about her mother. About her children, and I know that she had tattoos of koala bears on her, I believe on her shoulder blade. But if you want to look up Erika Hernandez, just check it out online. Anyway, I'm going to kind of leave it there for right now. And if I find out anything else, I will let you know. But I just wanted to let you know to be careful and to be sure you secure that door to your bedroom. Okay? All right, everyone. Well, thank you so much. And I hope everyone has a blessed day. God bless all of you. And I'll see y'all soon. Okay? All righty. Well, goodbye.